Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. On today's show, we're welcoming Dr. Sevet Johnson. She is the new CEO of Ventura County. So we would like to welcome Dr. Johnson to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you.
Very good. Dr. Johnson served 5 months prior in transition to her new position. So we would like to hear from her as to what things that she would like to bring to the job.
Thank you. So I would start with saying, I started with the county back in 2009 with behavioral health, and I worked myself through behavioral health. And in doing that, I met a lot of people. I've built a lot of relationships.
Okay.
I led on various levels within that organization, and I've really gotten to understand the fiber of our county, of our consumers, and those that we serve. So I think serving through that lens with a heart of service are going to be really essential as I embark on this role.
You're going to be taking on a lot here. You're going to be overseeing quite a bit, 10,000 or more employees and 27 different county agencies. So how do you think that will work? I mean, that's a lot to take on.
It is a lot to take on, but I think our asset is our people, our staff, our employees. We have amazingly invested, passionate, and loyal staff and employees who work for us.
Okay.
So they do the heavy lifting every day, and they have a heart for mission. They are mission driven. And I think that makes all the difference when you talk about some of the crucial work that we do that's extremely hard and taxing. When your heart is there and it's driven by mission and service to others,
Sure.
it helps to endure that. So it's engaging our employees. It's looking at and addressing our culture as being a culture of why, asking a lot of questions, just being curious, understanding why people do things the way they're doing them, and looking at how we can enhance our operations.
What are some of the key county priorities for you at this point?
I think right now we're looking at a number of things. Homelessness and housing are right at the top of that list. Making sure, folks have equitable healthcare access, and included in healthcare is, of course, mental health, public health services, addressing sustainability. I know water is a really big thing, but also looking at, for our future generations, how are we preparing? So we're doing things with electric vehicles and looking at how do we decrease our reliance on gas, because those are things that we have to look at now in order to prepare for the future. These aren't things you can do in 1, 2, or 3 years. They're really 5 and 10-year projects.
Right.
Looking at how we can support our businesses and becoming green as well. So those are some of the things. I'd also say economic recovery. We're coming out of a pandemic. We want to make sure that we're still supporting and engaging with our business community, our small businesses, and of course our entrepreneurs. So those are just a few of the things right now that are at the top of my list.
Tell us a little bit more about your background and your purpose.
My purpose. So I'll start with my purpose. Why do I do this every day? I alluded to it just a second ago. I really believe in wanting to ensure that we have a Ventura County that our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren can enjoy. What does that mean? That means that, young adults can afford housing and they can afford to live here. That means that young adults and those graduating from college can get, working jobs where they are paid a living wage, and that they're high-paying jobs that they can apply for and thrive at. That also means that we have the infrastructure in place to support those families and our communities. I think about simple things like our library system, right? And you think about a library and it's like, yes, it's a great place for children and families, but it's also a community hub. So how do we enrich those assets that we have here in our community?
But coming in now as CEO, I'm sure you have a lot of plans looking several years down the road. What are some of those things that you'd like to share with us?
I think it really goes back to looking at sustainability. I think that's a really critical issue for me, really connecting with our business community as well as our educational partners. And really creating dialogue where we're hearing from our business partners as to what training and pipelines are needed to fill the jobs that they foresee in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, and then working with our educational partners to create those training programs so we have those pipelines here and our youth don't have to go out of county or out of state to get the training they need and then come back and work here. So some of those things of just making sure we have a sustainable Ventura County are extremely important.
I know that this position, certainly, as I mentioned, oversees several different departments and agencies. Are there some that you're going to take a look at first? Or do you want to make any changes? Are there several that you want to closely examine and maybe, either make them change in terms of being bigger or smaller? Or I know that sometimes there's a lot of change when a new CEO comes in. So I just want to get a brief, kind of feeling from you on that.
Yeah, so I can say that since March, I've been looking at our different agencies, how
Okay.
efficient they are, and looking at other counties to understand, how things are done in different ways, because there's so many different models that you can look
Right.
at. There's no one way to skin a cat, right? So
Right.
and some would say, well, if something isn't broke, then why fix it? Are you looking
Right.
for a problem to solve that doesn't exist? So I think that I've been having just real transparent conversations with
Okay.
many of the agency directors about what I've observed and trying to understand how they see things and working towards enhancements that are collaborative, that
Okay.
have buy-in. Because if a change is made, I want it to be sustainable. I don't want it to be something that's done and that, in a few years, everyone's wondering,
Right.
well, why did we do this? That doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So being very thoughtful and very intentional about how we engage around change and what that'll look like.
Okay. With that, I'd like to mention that there are probably many people out there who would like to make a career with Ventura County and take a look at some of the departments and agencies that you have, and they would like to apply. And I'd like to find out from you what you look for in candidates and from those people that are interested in being a part of Ventura County for the growth, for the long-term growth.
We are here to serve. That's our primary purpose.
Right.
I would also say that we are really engaged in and focused on ensuring that we have a diverse workforce, because we
Okay.
want our workforce to match the communities that we serve. So diversity is a big driver in how we're engaging folks. But we want people who we have positions from entry level to advanced degrees. So I would say anywhere on that continuum, we'd be, engaging and wanting to bring people on board that just want to work with us and want to join our county family.
Very good. Would you like to mention the website for the
I
county?
was going to ask you if I could do a shameless
You
plug.
can, absolutely.
So it's hr.ventura.org.
Okay.
Anyone interested in looking for positions that might be open, that's a great place to start.
So thank you again, Dr. Sevet Johnson, CEO of Ventura County. And thank all of you for joining us today on Our Ventura TV. We welcome you and certainly look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.